Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. There's nothing else to really say about this game, but yeah, disgraceful. That pretty much is going to wrap up the Commander season this year. This one probably pissed off fans more than previous years because you had an opportunity to make the playoffs. You were in the playoffs for the last several weeks, and now not only are you going to be out of the playoff race, but you're just going to be out of the playoffs in general. So, yeah, that's definitely something that's going to piss off fans. I'm not surprised to see this be the case. Washington always finds a way to squander opportunities, and this is just another year where they did that. I don't really have much to say about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is who I thought he was. I said this when they first signed him. Carson Wentz was going to be a bad quarterback. He wasn't going to play well, and that he wasn't going to change life in Washington. He's done exactly that. He hasn't changed life in Washington. He's been a bad quarterback, and we have not won with him as our guy for the most part. Now, of course, he did get injured, but before he got injured, he was playing awful. And he came back from his injury and he's still playing awful. So, like, what's the difference? He is who we thought he was. There's no difference. There's no change. The guy is not a leader. The team does not rally behind this guy. You can see it. The energy is just different. Like, just look at how the defense played. The defense does not play like this when Heineke's there. But the defense sure played like that. They just stopped caring at some point. They just looked like they gave up. That secondary legitimately gave up on covering any of the Browns receivers. It was terrible. Honestly, terrible. Like I said, he's not a leader. The energy isn't there. The fans don't rally behind him. The team does not look like they rally behind him. He's honestly just not wanted here. At least by the fans. I don't know how the players feel. Like they probably see a circumstance and say it's unfortunate, but yeah, he's just not a leader. So he doesn't win the room like that. You know, the fans certainly want him gone, but the team maybe they've tried, but it's just like they don't have chemistry with him, and it just doesn't seem like they really vibe with what Carson Wentz does. But yeah, like I said, he's not a leader. He doesn't rally his team because he's not a leader, and yeah, he's just not a good quarterback. No pocket awareness at all. Just no pocket awareness. Just throwing the ball up, just recklessly throwing the ball up. No touch on his passes. Um, Not even scanning the field properly because there were several times in this game where you had a receiver wide open. He didn't even look towards him. Instead, he decided to throw it into coverage. His picks were awful. It was completely on him. I don't even know what he's thinking on half these throws. It's just like he's terrible. First quarter was just awful. I mean, he stares down his receiver. You know he's trying to go to McLaurin on that first one, and he underthrows it, gets picked off. Second one sails, gets picked off. Third one was into double coverage, gets picked off. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, this guy is terrible. I already knew this. The Colts knew it. That's why they got rid of him. And you can sit back and say the Colts are a terrible team this year. Yeah, they're a terrible team, but even they had the sense to understand that Carson Wentz wasn't the guy. They would rather have a season of Matt Ryan, a decrepit Matt Ryan that's clearly over the hill and is on his way towards retirement. He's got a foot already in retirement. They would rather have that guy than have another year of Carson Wentz. That should have told Washington something. But again, we don't learn. This is just what they do. They do this every year, so it is what it is. But I really do feel bad for Terry McLaurin for having to have to play with Carson Wentz because I mean it's just this guy has hurt him all the time. He's hurt his numbers. He's just hurt his production. They have no chemistry, and I feel bad for Terry McLaurin. Not Terry McLaurin, but well, I do feel bad for him, but I also feel bad for Taylor Heineke because you can say whatever you want. They rally behind Heineke. Heineke is their guy. The fans will get pissed off with some of the things Heineke does, but they rally behind him, and the team rallies behind him. And you know, when he was in the starting lineup, when he was the guy, you managed to win some games. This is a game I felt you could have won if Heineke was the guy. I don't think they break out the way they did in the second half if Taylor Heineke was playing from start to finish. I just don't think that happens because Heineke is not throwing two picks in the first quarter. Heineke's had some bad moments, but he's never played a single game as bad as Carson Wentz has played today. And for me personally, it's unfortunate that he wasn't out there. You know, you step back and look at the Niners game, and people are going to blame him for those two turnovers, but the first one was a strip sack. So, like, he got hit in his blind spot. There's nothing you can do as a quarterback when you get hit in your blind spot. That is on your offensive line for not blocking you. And the second one was a pick where he got hit while he was throwing. So, obviously, the pass got altered. I don't know what to tell you there. So, you know, hey, Ron Rivera was so quick to get rid of Heineke and bring back Carson Wentz. Yet when Carson Wentz threw two picks in the first quarter, he didn't even think to try to put Heineke in. So I don't know what else to tell you. Carson Wentz was awful, 3 interceptions on the day, and that pretty much ends your season for the most part there. And as far as I'm concerned, this was Ron Rivera's resignation letter. I honestly believe that he's not coming back. More so, I think the team's going to fire him because he gave up on the season. He gave up on trying to make the playoffs. He gave up on it. I mean, you can, unless you're just telling me Ron Rivera has no sense of awareness and he doesn't understand his football team, which, based on his actions today, I could believe he has no understanding as to what made his team successful this year. Carson Wentz did not make this team successful. Taylor Heineke, for as limited as he is, helped make this team successful because they rallied behind him. And when Heineke was there, you always had an opportunity to win the game. Doesn't mean you were going to win the game, but you always had an opportunity to win. With Carson Wentz, you were just out of it. I mean, cool on the first half. The only reason that it was a 7-3 game is because the defense was doing everything in their power to stop the Browns. But in the second half, just nothing was happening with Carson Wentz, and eventually the defense just got tired, and the secondary just stopped caring. They don't rally behind this dude, so what else can you say? But yeah, Ron Rivera making the decision to go back to Carson Wentz and sticking with that decision ultimately cost them the game today. And I feel like he himself is probably done, and I think the team's going to be done with him too, because you cannot be that unaware of what works for your football team. Carson Wentz doesn't work for this team. There's no chemistry there, and it's sad. And yeah, I just don't know what else to tell you. I feel like with Taylor Heineke, you would have had a better shot to win this game, but no, you chose to put out Carson Wentz, and that just ends your season right there. So personally, I feel Ron Rivera's got to go. I think he's got to be gone. They have to fire him. He's got to go. He cannot be here next season. And yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. You're kind of stuck in this situation here. I mean, Carson Wentz, you paid him that money, so we'll see how that works out. But you're kind of just stuck with him, and I don't really know what the plan is moving forward for the Commanders. But yeah, as far as this season is as far as this season goes, it's most likely over. Now, technically, they are not eliminated from playoff contention just yet. Obviously, the Packers have not played, but if the Packers beat the Vikings today, then they'll officially be eliminated. Because in order for the Commanders to be eliminated, they would need the Commanders to lose, which they did, the Lions to win, which they did. The Lions beat the Bears today, and you would need the Packers to beat the Vikings. So if the Packers beat the Vikings, Commanders season officially ends. But if that doesn't happen, I guess week 17 they'll have to deal with multiple playoff scenarios and see how that goes. But honestly, I think the Packers are beating the Vikings today, so I'm not worried about that. Even if they don't, I don't see them beating the Cowboys next week, so it doesn't matter. Ron Rivera's got to go. They need to fire him. You're stuck with Carson Wentz. I don't know what you do with that situation. I feel bad for Terry McLaurin because he has to deal with this nonsense. And Heineke, I feel bad for him because honestly, he's had some bad moments, but he's also had some moments of just crazy brilliance, and it's been an interesting experience that I personally felt they should have just stuck with Heineke until the end and see what happens as opposed to putting out Carson Wentz. But hey, Ron Rivera made his choice, and it looks like that choice is going to cost him the season. It is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, I really do feel bad for Terry McLaurin because Heineke, you can say whatever you want about him. Heineke got him the football. Carson Wentz cannot seem to get this football to Terry McLaurin, but Heineke found ways to get that man the football, and he would have found ways to get him the football in this game. But it's unfortunate. It is what it is. Another failed season for the Commanders. Nothing really changes, and this one really hurts because they already look dead in the water. Heineke comes in, helps them get to a playoff spot, just for them to lose that playoff spot and ultimately miss the playoffs because they can't win a football game. And it's unfortunate. To make matters worse, the Giants clinched the playoff spot today because they destroyed the Colts. So yeah, so the Giants are going to be in the playoffs. The Eagles are already in the playoffs. The Cowboys are already in the playoffs, and it looks like the Washington Commanders are going to be the only team in the NFC East to miss the playoffs. And it's all because Ron Rivera decided to put Carson Wentz in instead of sticking with Taylor Heineke in a game that I believe Heineke can help you win. It is what it is at the end of the day. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say. Not really surprised. Just another season of disappointment. You kind of get used to it. And yeah, with that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.